Mabel the Lovelorn Dwarf, Chapter 3. Had a date last night with Ben, Emma said on her way to work. 2 weeks since the contest at the Prospector, and already Emma had gone on 6 dates, each one with a different fellow. She always beamed as she gave me the latest report on her pursuit of a mate. It was wonderful to see her so happy. How was it? The shine faded from Emma. All right, except he talked about you all night. Why would he do that? Maybe he was nervous and wanted something to talk about. He probably talked about me because you both know me. I'm sure the next day he will focus all his attention on you. Emma shrugged it off. It doesn't matter. I'm not set on him or anything, even though he's a mountain dweller. Zach is more what I'm looking for. Dad would love Emma as his daughter. He'd asked me again today about what my courtship prospects were and if anyone had shown any interest. I think next time I'll lie and say I'm just being picky or weighing my options. Maybe that will make him happy and keep him quiet about it for a while. A few days at least. We stepped into the cool darkness of the entrance cavern. Several males crowded around Emma, pushing me away from her, including Ben, who kept Emma close, holding her arm. He asked her to go on another date. I didn't get a chance to hear her answer. Ricky sidled up to me, and I thought, almost hoped, for a moment, for Da's sake, he might be interested, until I saw his beard, which had never, for as long as I could remember, ever been so much as kinked by a cowlick, never mind a braid. How about a rematch at the Prospector tonight? Just you and me, he asked. Ricky, the one Mikey said needed to be dethroned, and that I'd be the one to do it. I looked forward to seeing his expression when I showed off my new throwing skills. Sure, sounds like fun. Excellent, he smirked. I didn't know why he did that, or why he even asked for the rematch. It wasn't like I'd beat him last time. I have to warn you, I've been practicing. Be prepared to lose big time. Ricky winked. It was like he took pride in defeating one of Mikey's siblings. I guess if he couldn't compete against Mikey, he thought I was the next best thing. We'll see about that, I said as he and his friend Curtis walked away. Mikey was right. Ricky did need to be dethroned, and I'd be more than happy to stomp his ass, as Mikey said. That evening at the Prospector, I was glad Mikey had made me practice throwing into the wind the last several days. I'd complained that all official competitions were indoors, so I shouldn't have to suffer like this. Mikey had rebutted that it built my throwing strength and endurance, and that I wouldn't have the advantage of throwing with the wind indoors either. Now I wondered if Mikey set up the throwing post in our back garden to face the same direction as the one at the Prospector, so there would be no surprises whenever he entered contests here. At least I assumed he'd entered contests here when he was starting out as a thrower. With the change of seasons, the wind had turned from a warm southerly to a biting north. Except for the warmth of the sun, the cool air predicted an early onset of winter. Of course, it wouldn't matter how great my endurance or strength was if my hands were too frozen to let go of the axe. Because only Ricky and I competed in the rematch, everyone else watched, including Mikey and Patrick. Mikey's presence last time had made me nervous. Now, having my coach with me kept me relaxed. Ricky flung the axe at the post. If I had thrown that way, Mikey would have yelled at me for sloppy technique, calling it loose and bendy. I glanced at Mikey, who snorted into his ale, confirming my theory. He was probably surprised Ricky actually hit the target. Ricky retrieved his axe and swaggered back to the throwing line. I rolled my eyes. I didn't remember his form being so bad last time. If he could do it with such horrid technique, I had no excuses. I thought you said you'd practiced, I snickered and flapped my arms, mimicking his hideous throw. Everyone laughed, including Ricky's friends. I stood at the line, axe in hand, flexing my wrist and closing my eyes. In training, Mikey always told me to visualize myself pitching the perfect throw. When I visualized, I added a little extra to the scene. I imagined myself in a movie, fighting alongside Aramis. I often pictured myself throwing the axe in a perfect, tight line right into the heart of Aramis's enemy. Of course, I never told Mikey that part. This time, I visualized myself throwing to win a competition. Losing the competition meant Aramis's execution. If I won, Aramis would be freed and I would win his heart. Eyes open, I saw only the bullseye of the post. I pulled my arm back. Aramis's life hung on the line. I had to make this throw. The axe flew head over handle and hit the outer edge of the bullseye. Good enough to count full points. Phew, 2 more throws to free Aramis. Philip and Jimmy cheered. Mikey raised his glass to me. Lucky throw, Ricky said. He stepped to the line with less swagger and heaved the axe at the post. It hit and stuck in one of the outer rings. 1 throw and already his confidence is blown, Mikey scoffed. I didn't have to be so accurate this throw, but Aramis depended on me. No way would I let him down. Ricky might be trying to lure me into a false sense of security. A perfect throw would prove to Aramis how much I loved him and wanted him to be free. I focused on the post. I reached back and released the axe a moment sooner than I had first. I focused on the post. I reached back and released the axe a moment sooner than I had the first one. This time, the line was better. I hit the heart of the bullseye. Aramis, watching from the tower where he was held captive, smiled down on me, knowing I loved him and that he would soon be free. You're being coached, aren't you? Ricky growled. I shrugged. I might be. Not fair. You should have said something when I challenged you. Being coached wasn't cheating, was it? You never made it a condition of the challenge. In fact, I seem to recall you thought you had the upper hand because you'd practiced. He huffed and puffed for a moment. I declare this competition forfeit on the grounds of unfair advantage. Oh, come on, Ricky. Don't be an elf, Patrick called out. You took the risk when you challenged and didn't set out the terms. The rules state no additions to terms can be made during a contest. The onlookers chanted, Throw! 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 I considered making a bad throw to restore some of Ricky's ego, but dwarves don't lose anything on purpose, particularly a contest of strength and skill. Besides, Aramis needed me to finish this and win it for him. Fine. Ricky took his time setting up and focusing on the post. Throw the bloody axe already, someone yelled from the back of the crowd. I agreed. He was playing a mind game, trying to rattle me so I would lose the contest, and Aramis. I shivered and I waited. Aramis blew me a kiss that warmed me from head to toe. I would wait as long as I had to. Eventually, Ricky threw. He kept himself straighter and tighter, a much better line, the way I remembered it being last time. He hit a middle ring, second from the bullseye. After he retrieved his axe, he glared at me. The cold might be good for throwing axes, but I had stiffened up while waiting. I stretched my neck, rotated my shoulders, and flexed my arms the way Mikey had taught me. I wanted to get this competition over with so I could go inside and warm up with some ale before heading home. I focused. 1 more throw for Aramis. His life rested in my hands. 1 more throw and his heart would be mine. His powerful yet thin arms would be around me. I could gaze into his sapphire blue eyes as he kissed me ever so gently. Right. Don't think about his eyes. Focus on the target or I'd lose Aramis forever. I hurled the axe. I'd released a fraction too soon. I could only hope as it flew from my hand. I managed to hit the first ring away from the bullseye. Not perfect, but I had won. I had freed Aramis, and he loved me. Ricky pushed his way into the tavern. He hadn't even grudgingly congratulated me. I didn't care. Philip and Jimmy were beside me, shoving tankards of ale at me. Everyone else surrounded me, hustling me inside as they shouted their congratulations. What about her? Someone behind me said. Who, the axe thrower? His friend asked. Yeah, she's interested. Oh. I guess Mikey was right. Maybe the axe throwing was a marketable skill after all. This would make Da happy. His friend chuckled. I don't think so. Or not. Too skinny and the most pitiful beard I've ever seen. She can throw, but I doubt she can do anything else. Her friend, though, is perfect. Where is she? She's out with someone. Seriously? Did he not just see me throw? Did he think I came in here by mistake? Didn't he see me with Mikey and Patrick? I am a minor. I am a golden axe, for crying out loud. That should be more than enough for anyone. Shouldn't it? I'd like to stomp his ass in the throwing arena. I downed a few tankards of ale in quick succession. What was the point of eating and mining and strength training if I would never look right? I could only hope not every fellow in Gilliam held the same opinion as that bloke. In the meantime, at least I had my Aramis who loved me, flaws and all. Mikey and Patrick walked me home. More like they had to carry me, each holding an arm as I swayed and stumbled so much from the drink. You held yourself well tonight, Mikey said. Tomorrow I'm moving the throwing line back a couple of feet. Hey, why don't any other females throw axes? They do, just not in Gilliam. Why not? Is it repulsive to the males? Because I'm showing my strength and skill, but no fellow is asking to court me. So maybe Dada's right. Maybe it's the wrong thing to do to find a mate. I stubbed my toe on a twig, tripping. They held me firm. Easy there, Patrick said. You've won yourself a lot of admirers tonight, male ones, if you didn't notice. So why aren't any of them asking to court me? Most of us males are slow at deciding if we are interested in mating, and even slower at doing something about it if we are, Mikey said. Don't worry, you've only just reached mateable age. Like I told Dow when I started coaching you, you have several years to find a good mate. No, I don't. I have to find one now or I'll be like Mam, too old to have as many dwarflings as I can. There is no such thing as being too old, and Mam certainly was not, Patrick said. Well, she must have been because she's dead. Mams don't leave their families unless they die. We turned the corner to walk up the path to our home. Patrick lowered his voice. No, Mabel, Mam isn't dead. I stopped moving and slid to the ground. She had to be. If she were alive, she'd be with us. Then where is she? We don't know, Patrick said as he and Mikey picked me up. Forget about Mam. She isn't worth thinking about, Mikey said, glaring at Patrick. Why? Had she been banished and we were all forbidden to talk about her? She just isn't, Mikey opened the door. What had she done to get banished? But Mikey frowned and Patrick shook his head. The subject was closed. At least I knew this much now. I wouldn't give up asking. I'd bide my time. When the right moment came, I'd pounce. If you're enjoying the adventures of Mabel Goldenaxe, don't forget to subscribe so that you know when the next video comes out, and click like and share your thoughts in the comments below.